Hello and welcome once again on this Monday afternoon. It's been a few weeks since I last saw you all, isn't it? Thank you very much for joining me. For anybody who's new to us, my name's Simon Williamson and I'm here every Monday at 1 o'clock with some inspiration from the Abaco ink range. And so wherever you're from, the UK or further afield, welcome and thanks for joining us. Let's say hello to some of our friends that are on. So we've got Maureen on, Roxy, Lee, Tracy, Linda, I think I missed somebody, but Bridget. Hello, Bridget. I knew there was another name there. So thanks very much for joining me. Did you all catch the show the other day on Creating Craft? I hope you did. If not, you can always then be kept informed of any notifications by hitting that bell, and then any news that we've got to tell you will be communicated with. So it's a really good call to do that. And obviously, if you haven't already, give the page a follow as well. So thanks very much. You can see all your comments coming through there. So who caught the show then? Did I do very well on my first show in the new studio? Hopefully I did it proud. Got 6 amazing demos and these are 4 of what we made. So some nice inspiration there if you want to go back and watch that yourself. Let's get started, I think. I'm going to start off with a fishy demo using our lovely fishy sets. I'm going to start off with this one. Just a really simple card. I'm going to show you how you can build up a nice scenery and a little bit more detail with them stripes. Roxy that says, go which one? Oh, thank you, Roxy. Right then, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring the stamping platform up. And I've already pre-cut a panel for card. Just bring that in. So let's get that on there. Now I'm going to use the bubbles out of the Bubbles and Twine set. So that's going to give us a really big impact on this background. And because there's no edges to it, we can fill in the blanks with the stamp as well. So let's start off up here. I'm going to use the VersaFine Black. My favourite ink, isn't it? A nice bold colour. Oh, thank you, Sue. It were a bit weird going to another studio, but I think I did well. And it was the first time I'd done a double show as well, so I'm proud of myself. Give that a good push down, make sure we've got all the detail on there. That's lovely. I'm going to just reposition this stamp now to continue this design going down the card. So let's pop that in there. Give that a good push down. I'm just going to wink that up. Nice weather today as well, isn't it? I think we're heading into summer. Hopefully it'll stay around now. Push down. I'm just going to move my card up now with this last little bit so that I can get this bottom bit with a few bubbles on as well. So let's get that positioned up slightly higher. I want to go this way. I only need to ink the top bits of this as well, just to fill out that bit that we need. Just shows you how versatile this stamp is. There we go. Move that off there. This is when I get ink on it now, isn't it? Just move that onto the glass mat. It's a bit easier for us to look at. So you can see that's really gives us a nice big background now that we're going to use for his actual card. What I'm going to do though is to break it up a bit. I could colour all the bubbles in, which I've done in other demos, but I want to do like a stripe effect going across it, which I think is a little bit different for us. It gives a little bit more depth to it as well. So I'm going to get some masking tape. Obviously, if it's a higher tack one, just take some of that stickiness off a little bit. And then let's start just striping off our card. I'm just going to build that up. Doesn't have to be exact. Make them stripes as wide as you want to. Pull that across. So Bridget says you did very well, Simon. Watch both. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It were nice. It were nice. Nice experience, I've got to say. Move this one up. Okay. And I'm going to get a nice variation going down as card of them stripes. So I'm going to use an ice ink dye now. I've gone for the petrol colour, so I think it's a nice kind of blue that's going to make this image come out a little bit more. And rather using the round pads, I'm going to use one of these brushes as well. So just thinks it gives a softer kind of look. So I'm just going to start the circle motions and bring that on. I'm going to start from the edges. and work towards the centre. It builds up really fast as well, this, which is nice. You could do it with 2 colours as well as meet them in the middle so that you get a nice blend. We're just going to layer that down, get that blue going. I'm going to do the same down the other side now. Just bringing that in from the edge. I love these brushes. They're so soft. Just bringing that back round. Almost like a border you want to do, a little bit more depth around just the edge. And just taking that all the way around. And just a little bit more into that middle area just to take that whiteness out. I think that's going to look really good. Let's take our tape off and see what result we've got. There's a nerve-wracking bit into it, making sure you don't rip your card. It's quite nautical as well with being the blue and white. Take that off there. Do it from this side, I think. There we go. It's a little bit different, isn't it? If I just hold it up for you, you can see it just gives a little bit more definition without having to colour all the bubbles in. You've got the blue and the white broken up with the stripes. It gives you a nice light background and something really easy you can do yourself. So let's build upon this now. So I want to put a little area at the bottom for the sentiment to go. And I think the best way to do this is actually use a piece of ripped card. It just gives a bit of a jagged edge. So let's start tearing from the centre. I'm just going to go a bit of a jagged line. It's a bit like a rockery. I don't exactly know what shape I'm going to get. I just want it to be sloped off a little bit. You can see it going downhill, and that's going to give us a nice kind of break for his card. And I'm actually going to just edge that with the black ink now, just to take a little bit more detail. So I'll take your VersaFine black or whatever one. You could do a colour in this as well, couldn't you? Just taking that all around that rough edge to build it out a bit more. That's looking nice now. A bit jagged, a bit rough. And this is where we're going to put a sentiment on this. Let's get our board up and we'll get that sentiment put on there as well. And I've gone with the You're Officially Awesome, which I think is a lovely sentiment for this kit. And it really just ties in any of the cards that we're going to use. So let's have that up towards the top. Put my magnet on so it doesn't slip. Have we got anybody from America joining us this time or further afield from the UK? I think now we had somebody from, I think it was from Spain last time, weren't we? There you go. That's our sentiment put onto there. Just move my platform out of the way. So I'm going to put this towards the bottom of the card just to break up that stripe panel up. And you can choose where you want it, whether you want it higher up or lower down. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick this into place. I'm going to use a tape runner just for this so I can make sure it's stuck. And let's get that where we want it. So I think we're going to go just about there. Give that a push down. Make sure I don't get blank ink on it. And then I'm just going to flip this over. And then I can trim off that excess card that we don't want from the back. We use it as like a template. Do the same along the bottom. And down this side, but I'm just going to turn it the other way. It's a bit easy for me to cut. Get rid of those bits we don't need. And you can see by doing that now, we've got a really nice panel with the sentiment already printed on there. So we've got that like rough rockery edge at the bottom, look like the seabed. So I'm the only one, mate, didn't you? Elizabeth, you're going to get me in trouble, aren't you? You only get one magnet with the Eureka. I think I may have borrowed the other one from Tony, but we don't need to tell her all the secrets, do we? So that's our backing for our card. I'm going to get that mounted onto a piece of black, so we've got a nice border on that as well. So we'll just use the tape runner on that as well. And then we'll get this mounted onto our grey temp felt card. I'll just make that pop a little bit more. Give that push down. And then onto our grey one. So let's give that a bit of a tape runner. Could we use wet glue as well, whatever you prefer. Just for speed, it's sometimes easy for me to use a tape runner. And that's looking amazing already. Really pops with that white on that grey. So now we need some characters for that. So we're going to bring in the fish now from the set. So if I bring up the stamping platform again, and I've brought in the shark and the little fish and the starfish. I think they'll really go well with this. Let's get them stamped out. Really good sizes these as well, so you can have really good play around with the colours you want to use, make theme in with your card really well. I'll use me one magnet there for you, Elizabeth. I'm going to do them in black again, so they really pop. Give that a good push down. Make sure we get all that detail in there. I'm really happy with that first time. So just take that out of the stamping platform. Get rid of those stamps that we don't need. And I'm bringing in watercolours now so we can bring these to life. So Elizabeth says, what's it worth to keep it quiet? You can't bribe me. That's not fair, is it? I like your sense of humour though, that'd be me. What's it worth to keep quiet? So I want to use these lovely blues that are in this palette now. I think we'll have a nice blue shark. Let's get some of that detail onto him. They're so creamy, these paints, they're lovely. You can push them around and get some nice effects. I like how it kind of settles where it wants to on the card. Bring that down a bit more. Around its eyes, around its teeth. And I think we'll give him a slightly darker tummy on this one. Just make him pop a little bit more, won't it? Just drag that towards the edge. A little bit more of that darker blue just over its gills and just around its fin. And then let's get our little friends coloured in now. So keeping with the kind of bluey, greeny kind of ink that we use in the background, I think we're going to have a green starfish. He's a happy chappy, this one, isn't he? He's got a big smile on his face. Just darken that a little bit towards the edge. Make him a bit more 3D that way. And then I think this little fella, we're going to have a combination of the two colours. Let's give him green at the back. And then we'll bring that blue back into the front for him. And that'll tie him in then. They're all mischievous faces though, aren't they? Just take some of the water off that so it's not as wet. If you're doing this at home as well, obviously let it dry between colour changes, then they'll not bleed into each other. Or if you need to, like I'm doing, just leave a slight border, then it'll not cross over to the green. Let's give that a blast with a heat gun. Just make sure that's drying out nicely. So do you think Tony caught me then with the magnet? Let's get rid of this water. Nearly there. There we go. And the beauty of this is you can always go in again if you want to make it a little bit more detailed, but I think for this card, these will look lovely on this background that we created. let's get these cut out now using the dies that come with these stamps. Just got a little bit more of this tape. Just going to tack them into place. And with this one. And our little starfish. Make sure it's the right way. There we go. I'm going to bring in the plates now from this new machine. Make sure I get this the right way. I've got to do it face down. Hopefully that's going to line up for us all. And then we'll just run this through and chop our little friends out. I don't think I've missed any questions, but if you have got any, put QQQ at the front. I can make sure I can answer them for you. Or you can always message me afterwards. I will reply to you. We'll just take these off here. There's our little friend there. The starfish and his little friend there. So let's get a little bit of depth going now. So we've got our lovely blue shark. So let's get him onto a foam pad to give him a little bit of height from the card. I think he can be up here somewhere. Let's have him up there. And then we can use a smaller foam pad on the little fish. I think we've had some other people join us. Are these from abroad, from a different country now? On Facebook, I think we've got Sue Green and Alison Beebe. Thank you for joining us. You can just view us on so many platforms now, can't you? It's really nice, I've got to say. Just got another foam pad here, just for his little star. Let's just pull that one off. And you can go down here with the sentiment area. And then to finish this off, I'm actually going to bring out the stickles. I think Tony had these not a couple of weeks ago, and like a selection pack. This is a Stardust one. I love this one because it really grabs hold of any colour you put it on top of, makes it sparkle. So I'm going to use these on some of these bubbles just to bring them out a little bit. So a little squirt, and then just push that around to make sure the bubble's covered. I'm going to do some on the white background and some on the blue. Give it a little bit of a variety. Turn that around a little bit more. It just has a little bit of sparkle to your card. This one up here. And you can also put a little bit of sparkle on the fish, just to bring him to life a bit more. Onto little starfish's points. And I think we'll have a little bit on our big friend here, just on his little gills, his fins. There we go. And that's our first card that we made. So it just shows that you can have a play around with those bigger stamps you've got in your collection, and you don't need the full size. You can make them into lock and expand them to make a full card. So have a play around, change the colours, and use the stamps you've got in your collection. It's just really good to have a go with that, isn't it? And I'm sure you've all got these kind of stamps in your collection that you can have a play around with, even if it's flowers or backgrounds. Just a bit of a nice one, nice relaxing one to have a go with, isn't it? So what we'll do now is we'll get some inspiration queued up for you to have a look at, and that'll give you some more ideas to actually have a go with the Avago collection while I set up my next demonstration. So thanks for watching the first one, and we'll see you in a second. And welcome back. Let's go into our second demo. So the next one's using the lovely Geisha girls that we've launched as well. So I thought we'd have a bit of a fun of compiling a card together. I did see somebody saying about using glossy accents on the eyes of the fish. It's a brilliant idea. I've actually got glossy accents in this demo for you. So I'm just going to show you how you can create a lovely background building up those stamps that you get with the set. This one's going to have the little flowers on there. And if I just give it a slight turn around, you can see there's little gems in the middle of the flowers. So give a bit of a sparkle to them. I think they really work well, them gems as well. So let's get this one built together. So I'm bringing up the platform. I've already got a card blank already cut. I'm actually going to use the top of this just for a second. So the first thing I'm going to do is the cherry blossom stencil that we've got. And what I've done purposely is I've not actually cleaned this one up, so there's a little bit of residue ink on there. Because you don't want it heavily to take away from this. You just want to take the residue off it. If I need to add a bit more, I will, but I think we might get away with just this bit. What I want to do is just put a bit of tape to hold it into place. And then if I have to put it back down, it acts as an hinge. So this colour was the rose colour. So let's see if we've got enough on the actual stencil just to brush back in. Might need to reactivate it. Just lift that up a second. Yeah, I can see it coming through, but I just want it a little bit darker. So I'm just going to put a little bit more on and just brush that in from the edge. I don't want it too heavy. I just want it in the background to break up that card. I'm just going to take that around. Faint as I can manage to get the detail. Bring that down to those bottom areas. It's a good way as well as using the residual ink rather than washing your stencil. Just lift that up, see what we're getting. Oh, so that's lovely, that. It's got a nice pale background coming through so you can see the detail, but it's not going to take over the card. I'm really happy with that, so let's take that out. And let's get that into our stamping platform. Use that magnet at that side. So now I'm going to use the big bamboo stamp. It's a really big one, this one, you can see. It's going to give a lot of impact to your card, that. Mine's a little bit green, I'm afraid, because I've not washed it, but yours will be cleaner, I'm sure. I'm going to lay this across the corner up here. So which way? I think we're going to go this way. Pop that there. Pick that up. And I'm going to use on this the Eyes Ink die pad, the emerald colour. It's a nice vibrant green. It's just going to show you how we can build these scenes up together. So I'll give that a good push down. Stamp that across the top. Let's see what we've got. I think I'm just going to do it one more time so we can get all that detail. This is a really good technique as well if you've got those little mini Eyes Ink pads. You could have a real fun with those, building up all the different colour layers. There we go, that's lovely. I'm just going to move my foliage down a little bit. I'm going to do this bottom corner now. Let's get that positioned about there. It also looks nice, this on textured cardstock. Gives you more of a rustic kind of look. I'm just using smooth card for today. Give that a good push down. Make sure I get all those edges. I'm happy with that. Let's just take that off. Just going to give it a quick wipe so we don't get any of that green ink on any of this project. I'm just going to transfer this piece of card to the table now. So the rest of it we're going to build up using a smaller ink pad, so it's a little bit easier to do. So I've got a couple of colours for the flowers. And I've got just a small block. So we're just going to put the flowers onto this. It's going to help us build this up. So I've got the larger one in the cerise, and I've got the tiny flower in the grenadine. So you can choose your colours. Let's go for the pink one on this. And you're just going to stamp into your foliage and around it. as if they're growing off this tree. And you can see then this background, it actually fades back a little bit, so it's not going to take over from your design too much. Let's swap over to the smaller one. This is one we're doing the grenadine colour. I'm going to fill some in between areas. Ooh. Well, that will look around it. Let me just stick it to the back. I think it's a bit wet that side. There we go. And build it up in a similar way, just where we want to put them flowers. I think we'll have a few going into the card. Almost using these like stalks. You can see them building into the card design. I'll have one down there. I think we'll just have one going off the card there, just to break that bit up. You can see now we've got like a lovely swoop of flowers going down that edge. And that's going to create as like an aperture area to bring out our geisha girl in a second. So let's just move those little flowers out of the way. It's a little fun demo as well, isn't it? You can all have a play around with what you've got. Just trying to clean that up so I don't get any crossover. So now I've got that lovely kind of, it's almost like a little bit of a Japanese Greek key kind of design. And it extends this one so you can build up the actual pattern. So it will continue as long as you want it to go. So let's get that onto a stamping block. I'm going to use black ink on this one. Let's just make sure we get all that ink up on there. I'm just going to stamp this going down this edge here. So start off at one side. Give that a good push down. And we can use that to continue the design. And then this final bit off this edge here. Well, I didn't do bad there, did I? Nearly got there. Move that one out of the way. Just get a wipe so I don't get this black ink everywhere. I don't want to ruin it at the last stage. And then seeing we've got this card being built up, we've got a sentiment. So we might as well put a sentiment on now so we know where it's going to go. I've gone for the thank you one that's in the kit. I think we're going to put that right towards the top area, I think. Give that a good push down. That just frames that beautifully. So now let's assemble his card and then we can add his main character in a second. So I'm going to mount that onto black just to make it pop a little bit more. I'll use the tape runner again. I love a black mount. It really does make your colours pop. There you go, just push that down. And then I'm going to put that onto a red 10-fold cord, which I've cut down a little bit just so it fits this light panel. And that red's going to really bring them flowers back out. So let's use our tape runner on this. Pop that on there. Make sure that red border is even all the way around. What does Maureen? Maureen says, braver than me, Sam, I'm useless without the Eureka. Well, the thing is, that's what they're there for, isn't it? These tools are for what's best for us. And some people prefer that in small stamping blocks, and some people prefer the Eureka, which you can go back, it's a little bit more forgiving. But you've got to do what you want to do, don't you? And what you're comfortable using. So now let's get our little character stamped out. I'm going to go for the lovely geisha this time, the one with the fan. It's a lovely big image, this one. Let's pop that onto there. I'm going to stamp it in black again. Give that a good push down. You can see there's loads of detail in there. It's a lovely design. Let's get a little bit of colour onto this. Now, to save a bit of time, what I've actually done at home is I've already pre-coloured one, but I wanted the glossy accent fans. So rather than waiting for them to dry today, I think you can see the sheen on those, they're lovely. I'm going to chop these out of this design and add them to this one that we're going to colour in today. It saves a little bit of time, and you'll see that the sparkly effect is well coming together. So I'm just going to move my palette a little bit closer. I think we'll use this lovely purple tone that you get in this palette, and that'll go with the flowers that we're using. And we'll just get that brushed into her lovely commode that she's wearing. You don't have to colour every flower in, you can just give a wash over it like this. So you spend as much time in the detail that you'd like to. I'm just going to take that flower under there. And just round the neckline there. And I think we'll actually do these little pearls here around her hair. So we agree the colours back in. And just down that side. And I thought I'd give this lovely lady brown hair this time, just so it's a bit different from the black. And we'll just wash that brown on. Right into a fringe. And these lines really help as well. So if you want to put some shadow in, you could just choose to actually darken in between some of those lines. Take a hair colour upwards. And just round these pearls that are in her hair. I'm not being too precise, I'm leaving a few gaps, which adds to the effect. We're just going to bring in a nice pinky colour now. We're just going to complement that outfit, make that a little bit thicker. Just wear a cuff sart and around a garment. Just drag that down. Around her tummy. And I think she needs those lovely pink flowers just bringing into her hair as well. These sticks give me pink as well. Just bring a bit more colour in. So I'm just going to give that a quick blast with a heat gun. You can see the actual stamps in a lot of the work with the design in the cloth. So I'll just blast that off a bit more. There we go. And then what we need to do is just fussy cut around this one. So you can leave a little border if you want to, whichever's best for you. So on this one, I'm just going to cut a little border around her. And then turn it with your scissors so that you're not making it harder for yourself. This is the thing I'd love to do on a night me, just cut these out and have them all ready so you can compile your cards when you want to. Around her hair, just chop that bit off we don't need. Continue around this side of her hair. We've got any fussy cutting fans out there? I know some people love it, it's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? I quite enjoy it though, I've got to say. Just going to turn that around. This is back in. Let's go around this fan edge. Around this one. And then down the side of the body. There you go. So we've got our lovely little geisha girl cut out now. And I'm just going to chop out these fans that I've already glossy accented on that other demo, but I think this will just add a little bit more detail to this one for us. So I'll just chop that out. That's one fan we've got. I'm just going to quickly chop around this other one. I love the glossy accent though, it just gives it a new level, doesn't it? Just chop down that one. up down to where her hand is. There we go. So let's have a look at some comments. So I'm just a shout out to the world. Just remember password to go to the HCCN account. I can now shop and buy. Simon buzzing. Oh, that's lovely, Sandra. If you ever have a problem like that, though, just ring us. We can sort that out for you. You don't have to be missing out on all the good stuff. You just get some glue. So that's just run out. Oh, do you know? Let's see if we can just get this glue to come out. If not, I'll find... No. Just 2 seconds while I just see if I've got a pokey tool. This one sounds like it's coming out. Here we go. And then we can put these little fans over his design. And it's just going to give us another light layer to it. But that glossy accent's really going to make it shiny as well, which is a brilliant touch. There we go. So it's a bit more three-dimensional this way as well. So let's put that to one side. Bring our lovely card that we've, our base card for a backing. So let's get this built up. I think I'm going to put on some foam pads as well, just to give it a bit even more height. Let's just use that foam pad. Be careful because it's still gluing that bit. There we go. So let's position her, I think, down there, look. And it looks like almost the flowers are coming from around the fan. Let's pop that into place. And then to finish this card off, I've got some of these lovely gems from the Stamps by Me range. And these are like a white colour, a bit iridescent. So don't know if you can see them on the map, but they're quite shiny. If I just tip a few out onto there, you can see the beautiful kind of iridescent colours. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue into the centre of each of these. He says, come on. Just give that a bit more push. Right, let's try again. So just a little dab of glue into the centre of these. We don't want to come out of this, does it? I'm just going to just choose something we want to do. You can do them all if you want to. But these little gems look really nice in the centre of these flowers and gives it a whole new kind of dimension with them 3D gems. So just pop those on. I love a bit of sparkle as well. You can't go wrong with a bit of sparkle. Glossy accent, glitter, use it all. There we go. You'll see the glossy accents on the fan and those little gems we've just put on, hopefully they'll all stay in place so you can see them picture. But it's a really nice way of building a scene up using the stamps you've got. And that's just using little stamps that we all forget about. Sue says, where do you get your inspiration from, Simon? Well, I think it helps to be a bit crazy, I've got to be honest. I pull my inspiration from everywhere. I think that's where we all do, isn't it? I like to have a play around as well. Who doesn't? A lot of ideas don't make it to a card, but it's the trying into it that's part of the journey. So I'm glad you all enjoyed that anyway. So I'll just bring in the other one that we made earlier. The 2 cards there showing you how you can use those background stamps. They always kind of get forgotten. So nice bit of a playing around today, isn't it? Roxley, Sam, you need one of Tony's pickup tools. I probably do, love. I probably do. I have probably got one somewhere, but I just can't seem to locate it when I need it. There's always a story, isn't it? So thanks very much for joining us anyway. Don't forget afterwards, if you watch the video, leave a comment for us. Just see if you've enjoyed it, and it helps other people decide if they want to watch that video too. But apart from that, thanks very much. And hopefully I will see you next week at the same time at 1 o'clock next Monday. So In the meantime, see you later.